We gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real, real clear. It's Tynee Talks right here. We gonna talk about it right here. I'ma talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real, real clear, cause it's Janay Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah. Cause it's Janay Talks. And I'ma talk about it.
And welcome to the Tynee Talks podcast, the podcast that educates and entertains, the podcast where you come to laugh and learn. I am your host, Tynee, and today I have an exceptional guest that will be joining me on the show to talk about I Got the Juice and I Got the Faith. And I'll be talking to Janay Shandy. She is the co-owner of 129 Fresh, a juice bar located in the Bishop Arts district of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She hails from San Antonio, Texas. She is a loving wife, a lover of Jesus and all things community. So without further ado, welcome, Janay.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you on the show, Janay. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, it has.
It surely has. And so today we want to dive into all things Janay Shandy. We want to get to know you, your faith journey with your juice bar, and your faith in your fertility journey. So that's kind of how you and I connected
Yes.
through the fertility story that I was doing on myself, and how I was struggling to have my now baby girl. It took me 2.5 years to get pregnant. And so how my faith was shaken and thrown about
Yes.
and
Relate.
tested.
Yes.
But we got here. So we're just going to get right into it. So I know that you come from San Antonio, Texas. So we want to know a little bit more about Janay. So how was Janay growing up? What did little Janay want to become?
Ooh, little Janay wanted to be a model, but yet she was shy. People cannot believe that. It was like, you were not shy when you were little. Yeah, I was. I was shy, but eventually I came out of my shell, but I always wanted to model, and I would try to do as far as fashion shows and everything. And it just seemed like when I was on camera or taking pictures out, my personality, I just turned into a different person. It's just like, it was almost like it just made me feel free in the moment. So that's something that I always wanted to do growing up when I was younger. But of course that changed when I was in junior high.
Okay. So before we get into the shift of not wanting, not going the path of modeling in middle school, the change came early.
It did. It came early, surprisingly.
So you said when you get on camera, it's like a new person. So you know how Beyonce has the Sasha Fierce alter ego. What do you think your alter ego's name when it's lights, camera, action?
Janay, she's French.
Oh, it's not Janay, it's Janay.
It's Janay.
So Janay just turns up when the cameras are rolling.
Yes, yes.
I could tell that you're really, really into fashion with the way you put looks together. Like you really put things together well. I would say that in my mind, you dress like a grown up. Like I'm trying to find my grown up look. I feel like I don't have it, but you dress really well.
Thank you. Thank you. It is so crazy though, because like sometimes I just think about what's in my closet and I just put stuff together in my head. And then when I put it on, it just comes out 10 times greater than, what I expect. And I shared that with some of my friends, because sometimes I wasn't really, like thinking like, oh, I can dress. I'm just, of course, I'm just putting something on that makes me feel good. And so like when my friends were telling me that, I was like, girl, you got a gift, because not everybody can, have the gift to put stuff together in their head and get dressed. And I was like, well, yeah, I had to take it and run with it. I was like, hey, it's inspiring other people to want to, do different things and, embrace it. And, it just makes you feel good because like, hey, when you put on like, hey, I'm about to show up and show out. So, hey, that's how I feel every time that I put something on.
When you look good, you feel good. And actually, like the clothes don't wear you. You literally wear the clothes. So it's
Amen. Yes, you do.
what you wear when I see you is like very intentional. So when you say you go in and you have it in your mind and you put it together, I can see that. Like I can feel that. And that, your friends are absolutely right. You have the gift. So maybe your calling was to be a clothing. What do they call it? The person that a
Stylist.
stylist. You were meant to be a stylist.
Yeah, my friends been telling me all the time, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I can dress myself, but I was like, I would want to make somebody feel uncomfortable, trying what I might think may look good on them. I would want them to, feel comfortable. So I just got to get out of my own way and just go for it, because I've done it for like my friends and they love it. So I was like, okay, God, I just got to do it.
Look, I'm another messenger from God, obviously.
Yes, you are. Confirmation clock it.
This is your sign. This is yet another sign. Are you like me? Like when it comes, like God knows me as his child. He
Yes.
has to literally throw the baby in front of the train for me. I'm one of those people. Like he has to really show me through example.
Yes, certain things. I don't know, God. He was like, I'm telling you, it's right in front of your face.
Yeah. You know, people always talk, I always tell people when it comes to faith, God always puts a ram in the bush, and people are always questioning that Bible story of like, why would God have him sacrifice his son? And like I
Yes,
said, it's like me when you got to throw the baby in front of the train. Like some people need that extra nudge.
they do. They do.
To be like, are you really gonna, you know what I mean? So
Are you
that's how
really
I
gonna
kind of
trust
look
me?
at
Or do you
that.
really
Yeah.
believe what I just told
Do
you?
you? Yeah. Are you? So I could completely understand your hesitation all these years, but literally just pay attention to the signs.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we went over to middle. So now we're in middle school, and you're like, okay, yes, little Janay wants to be a model, but you said the shift happened in middle school, and middle school is a very uh interesting place to say the least.
Yes, it
That's where
is. It's a lot that goes on.
it's a lot like middle school. Your hormones are just in berserk mode.
Yes.
You're coming into your own, like you're leaving like little kid status, but you're not really quite big kid status.
True.
You're in between. Kids are cruel.
Yes.
Um, you're learning new concepts, the whole nine. So, what happened in middle school that shifted what little Janay wanted to become?
So we had career day, and it was like different people that came and spoke to us, nurses, lawyers, but it was one physical therapist that came to speak to us. And it's just like she just loved her job at heart. And everybody else that spoke to us, it just seemed like it was just a day-to-day job, just making money. But she said when she actually spoke, like the words that flew out her mouth just showed the joy that she had doing her job. It wasn't about the money, it was just about serving people. And I was like, I want that same type of feeling that she has. Like, and I know myself, I cannot just sit still. I like to move around. And I was like, you know what? That would be the perfect position or profession for me. And so I did my research. I even volunteered. I was a tech when I was in school, and I just fell in love with it. I'm a people's person. I love helping people. And I just love making somebody's day, because there's a lot that goes on as far as just patients having physical therapy. They have stuff going on in their personal life. And I just feel that God just uses me as a vessel to not only help them to get to where they need to be physically, but also to keep them going mentally as well. And so that's what sparked me becoming a physical therapist assistant. And in November, it'll be 16 years that I've been practicing.
Oh, that is phenomenal. I love that you shared that story because this year actually was the first year that I did career day ever at my son's school. And to just inspire little minds, because there's so much to do in the world, but what is an opportunity without exposure?
True. Yeah.
What is an opportunity if you don't know what to go towards? And
Yeah.
so she came in there, and she had that passion, and I can tell that you have the passion because you just love helping people, and it translates into the 129 Fresh business.
Yes.
And you do that. You really have a desire and a care to help people get healthy and all of those things. So that is great. Congratulations on making it to 16 years. You're closer to retirement than you think.
I receive it. Thank you.
So I know that you are a strong believer in God. And so when did you accept Christ?
Oh my goodness. I was 5 years old, and I didn't tell my mom or my grandmother at the time. I just walked up and said, I want to be baptized. And I was 5 years old when I did it. And I just like, it was just a feeling that came over me. And it's just like, I just wanted to be closer to God. And at a young age, it's like, I just loved going to church. My mother, my grandmother kept me in church and kept me involved. So, but when I was 5 years old, that's when I joined.
I love that. I accepted Christ at the age of 5, but I always say that I really got to know the Lord in 7th grade. I feel like that was my true acceptance. I was baptized at 5, but I feel like I really knew God and
More.
Christ as my Savior in the 7th grade. Again, middle school.
Middle school, that's when things change.
Because you need faith more than anything.
Yes, Lord. Yes, you do. And this we do know is true.
You know, it's something about middle school. It's like you didn't do it so much in elementary, but you're comparing yourself to others and how they look. You're seeing new people and their bodies are changing. Your body is changing. And it is true. Comparison is the thief of joy. And so when all that stuff is happening in middle school, you really need an anchor in Christ and faith. You know, definitely was my anchor at that time.
He was mine at that time because I said, Lord, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready.
So now I know that you're in health and you're very healthy. We're going to get into that. But before you got into juicing, and I want you to tell us how you got into that. What is your guilty pleasure snack? Like, what was your favorite snack growing up, or even to this day when you're like, I know I shouldn't have that, but this is just my kryptonite?
Oh, homemade ice cream, and I love turtles, the candy turtles clusters, like with the chocolate and pecans. That's my weakness, and also chocolate chip cookies. Like I just went to Cookie Society yesterday. It's real bad.
You know what?
It's a good thing.
Cookie Society will have you outside the door scratching, okay? Their stuff is so good and addictive.
Yes, it really is. Like, it don't make no sense how you can make a peach cobbler cookie and it tastes like the actual peach cobbler. Like, it don't make sense.
Literally, my coworker, like, on Thursday told me about the peach cobbler cookies. And I've been not trying to drive up there because I'm on a weight loss journey. But I might have to go up there.
But it's a whole month, sis. So you got time to get back on track. Like one day, like, yeah, it was the banana pudding one. They had the red velvet, the peach cobbler, and the cornbread. Yeah.
My God, today.
Yes, Lord. I did content on it last night and I was shouting. I was like, if you make me dance and, you know, shout and everything, yeah, you did your business. Like you did what you were supposed to do.
And when Black people do this, when they
yeah,
that means it's good.
It's good, especially when the hand go up and the eyes go back. Oh yeah.
They did their big job. So I want to, go ahead and transition over to 129 Fresh, and how I come to know 129 Fresh is one day I was on social media and the lady who did my wedding makeup, her name is Tanya. And she's actually, she's from New Orleans. And she was doing a live and she was at this really cool place and it had like Mardi Gras stuff in the background. And she was like, come up here and get juice. And it looked so great. And I was like, oh my God, this looks like a great place. And so I was like, I'm going to have to go up there and try it. So I don't know if it was later that day or the following week, I came up to the 129 Fresh. And y'all were closed and you weren't there, your husband was there. And I locked on the door and he was like, we're closed. And I was like, oh man. And he was like, but I'll give you some turmeric shots. And he gave me and my friend some turmeric shots and was like, sorry, we're closed now, but you can come back the next time. But it was just so kind and polite of him to offer some turmeric shots, even though y'all were closed technically. And so
Yeah.
that drew me back to say, well, let me come back during the times that they are open. And you and your husband, and you just were welcoming, you were polite, you were kind. And kindness goes a long way. Kindness will keep me coming back more than anything. And that's what you guys, you and your husband, were to me. You were kind. And now I'm a brand ambassador for the brand, which I stand behind the brand wholeheartedly because it is steeped in community, which I love. So how do you get to 129 Fresh from initially wanting to be a model, going into physical therapy to help people, and then now you have this wonderful business right in the heart of the community? How do you get there?
Man, well, it was when my husband and I we first started dating, and that was like in 2012. And I think it was like around 2014, someone that he knew had started a business, and it was a juice bar. And I was just amazed when I walked around. I was just like, wow, I just love this. And that's around the time that I had moved here to Dallas. And I was like, that's something that we need here, more healthier options. And I was just like, wow, we got to bring this here. My husband and I talked into existence for 6 years. And then eventually when he saw me, because it got kind of tiring as far as me practicing as a therapist, I was getting to the point where I was kind of burnt out and he didn't like seeing me that way. So without me knowing, he went and looked at a building.
Mhm.
And it was in Bishop Arts, and it was actually the building that was next door to where we are now. And he basically just reached out to them, and we had just walked over and was like, it would take a little bit more for us to build out. And so that's when we had walked next door, and next door used to be a vegan grocery store, Lucky Mouth, and they were looking for management. And that's when we had said, okay, this is it. So I basically took the leap of faith. We prayed over it. I anointed it with oil, and I was like, it's in God's hands. And my
Mhm.
dad basically told me, because my dad has been in business for about 14 years. He has a soul food restaurant in San Antonio. And the best advice my dad gave to me said, if it's meant for you, it will flow into your hands. You won't have to work hard for it. And when I did that, and we called as far as the management the next day, and they basically said, it just, it was just like music to your ears. It just
Mhm.
flowed. And that's how God just showed me this was for us. And
Mhm.
so that's how we birthed. Well, it wasn't 129 Fresh at the time. We had business partners. We had a different name. And then
Mhm.
a year ago, God revealed to us that we needed to remove ourselves and to step into doing 129 Fresh. And that's when my husband came with the name 129, which comes from Genesis 129, saying that God given us the fruit, seeds, and earth for us all. And it just really shows how we are as people. We love to give to people, but we want to give something that's more beneficial for our bodies versus relying on things that, as far as medicine that the doctors prescribe that bring side effects. We want to bring something healthy that can really help somebody. So that's how 129 Fresh was birthed.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so yes, I love. I read that the concept of 129 Fresh, as you stated, comes from Genesis 129, and that God provides everything that you need. I love that you all's mantra is we believe what you put in your body has the power to change everything. And that resonated with me because when I pray in the morning with my son, I often say, be careful of what not only do you put in your body through what you ingest, but what you see with your eyes as far as scrolling, and what you put into your ears as far as what you're listening to. Because what you put into the body, whether it's through the mouth, through the eyes, or through the ears, will change everything. Your trajectory, your feelings, all of that things could be affected by what goes into the body. And so can you expound more on that concept?
Yeah, so you have to be mindful of what you put in your body because it can either bring life or it can bring death.
Mm,
One of my good friends, a father who's a pastor, he said what he always shared with his kids: you, what you do on your own when you grow up is on you. You have a choice. but at least I know that I did my part as far as putting what you need within you to be successful or prosperous in life. But he said, whatever you choose, it'll either bring life or bring death. And so I, myself, my husband and I wanted to, if we're gonna go into business, we want to bring something that brings life, that's gonna be prosperous for people, that would help them to not only enjoy life, but to be able to enjoy doing something that's good for their body versus something that's just so casual as far as like going out for, happy hour and drinks. You have to be mindful it's not always good for us because it, can affect us later on in life. So that's why we decided to do the juice bar because that's healthy. That's inspiring people to want to live a healthier lifestyle and to show them that being healthy is not boring. It can be fun.
It absolutely can. And so uh, we believe that what we put in our body has the power to change anything, everything. And how that relates to you when it comes to your fertility journey. How long have you been on your fertility journey?
Ooh, it's 7.5 years, almost 8. Yeah.
7 is the year of divine perfection. 8 is the year of jubilee.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I feel in my spirit the celebration for your baby will come soon.
I received that.
And so you talk about what goes into your body. How is juicing and in your faith journey, how do they coincide with one another as it relates to what you put in your body to cultivate a space to bring life into the world?
Oh, juicing, it just makes you feel good. And I know it helped me with my journey as far as with us, my husband and I trying to get pregnant, as far as using what we produce to basically help me with my journey. Beets are very beneficial for fertility and it naturally helps to boost your iron. And a lot of women don't know that because of course when we're on our cycle, we lose a lot of blood. And also too, if you do have fibroids, that also causes you to lose a lot of blood. But naturally, versus trying to do medication, beets is very essential to help to increase your blood flow. And I noticed when, especially before I had my robotic surgery to have my fibroids removed, my fertility levels increased with the beets. And I felt more energized. I didn't feel drowsy. I wasn't tired all the time. It's just like God told me, He said, you have to use what I bless you with in order for it to make a difference. And God is using me as an example for other women that there are healthier options that can help boost our fertility naturally.
Oh my gosh, Janay. Yes, I love that. Oh, I no, seriously, because uh, oh, so many women are trying to get pregnant, and we know that the chemicals and the hormones and the things that they're placing in the food, um, I could possibly be affecting why women are having such a hard time having babies. And then we know that studies are now coming out that a lot of women who got relaxers growing up, so that late 80s, 90s, 2000s, they are now finding that a lot of that is tied to uterine fibroids, and a lot of Black women within our age range are getting the fibroids. So to know that through juicing there are healthy alternatives aside from medication that can reverse some of those side effects to get people to where they need to be.
Yes.
I found a scripture that I feel like is really indicative to the faith and the overall journey, and can relieve people of their anxiety for regarding the things that they want. And that is Matthew 6:26. And it says, if God provides for the birds of the air who do not toil or store food away, he will certainly and faithfully provide for your needs as well as your want. For God, he'll give us our needs and our wants according to his will.
Yes.
And I think that is so needed in today's time because I think anxiety runs rapid. And so people often lose their faith in I call it the waiting room stage. Of,
Yes.
so in the waiting room stage, you can start there with faith big as a mountain. Because I'm pretty
Yes.
sure at the beginning of your journey, you're like, I'm married. I did, often we say things like, I did it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got married and I want to have this baby within the confines of this marriage. Because I know that was my thought. Like I had my first child with outside of marriage, and it seemed like, wow, that happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And then now I didn't walk down the aisle in my white dress at the altar. And so I'm thinking it's supposed to magically, soon as I lay down,
Yeah.
as soon as I lay down as a married woman, this
It's gonna
baby,
happen.
it's gonna happen. And so when it doesn't, you're like, you start, what started out as mountain faith, and that's why God, I feel like he always gives us a fail safe. Or as we said earlier, the ram in the bush, like he knows that on this earth that our faith can be tested so bad that it'll get down to that little mustard seed. And we
Yes.
know that it gets so small that we're just almost to the point of almost giving up.
True. True.
But he rewards us even in that faith of the mustard seed, because it's still a glimmer of hope there.
Yes, it is.
Because where there is life, there is hope.
There's hope. Yeah.
And so where do you think in this journey of your fertility, where has your faith been tested the most? And how could you encourage other women to get past that stage?
Ooh, it was tested because it's like you see other women getting pregnant, you're asking yourself, why is it not happening for me? And I had to like really, and it seems like when you're going through it, God always gives you a confirmation. It might be through a friend or it could be through your pastor preaching a sermon. And I was reminded that if Hannah endured, if Sarah endured, I can endure too. And sometimes God is taking us through something because it's for somebody else, but also what we're birthing is for the kingdom. And with that, it takes time. So I had to remind myself that I can't give up. I have to keep going. Of course, like doctors always say, there's some doctors that may not be on the level you are spiritually, and they say, like, it's time is ticking. You need to get pregnant. You're almost 40. But you have to realize there's no timing with God because what He's birthing through you is meant to not only bless you, but bless people surrounding you to show his works. So I had to remind myself, okay, God, whatever it is that you're doing through me, let me be patient, let me be at peace and allow you to work because I don't want to rush your timing. Because when you rush his timing, it causes confusion and it causes things not to go the way you expected. So his timing is perfect. And that's what reminds me, okay, I just got to trust him through it all. It's hard, it's not easy, but I have to remind myself that I have to trust him. And I just speaking into existence, like this necklace that I have on says mama. God
Yes.
promised me that this will be my title. So I have to just continue to speak it and walk in it like it's already happening. Instead of just waiting for it to happen, I'm walking in it like it's already happening. Because even too, like I'm a I'm a godmother, and God shows me through my god babies that I'm meant to be a mother. It's just that hasn't happened naturally yet, but it's going to happen. So just taking it day by day, breathing, and just knowing that it's going to happen, and just be reminded of the women in the Bible that endured the same journey. It can happen for you too.
Oh, thank you, Janay. I that what you mentioned about God showing you that through your godchildren you'll be a good mother. And I think that is such a good point, that when we are faithful over little, God will make us ruler over many.
True.
You are showing him through the care, love, and concern of these godchildren that you'll have that same level of care, love, and concern and patience with
Yes.
your own seed. And that just leads back to you said, this chain says mama, and you mother through community. You welcome people in your, we'll say your home, but in the home of your shop,
Yes.
at the juice bar. And that's what mothers do. Mothers welcoming, mothers are accepting of the children, however they come through. And I feel like you do that, however people come through those doors at 129 Fresh. So mama is indeed happening. Mothering is mothering is happening.
Thank you for that.
You are welcome. What are your top scriptures that are your go-to faith sustainers?
Ooh, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all their heart and lean not to their own understanding. In all that ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. That's,
Amen.
that's my go to. And of course, Jeremiah 29, 13. Um, just the plans that God has for us is already written. I just have to
Right.
trust him. And another one, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things, including hard things.
Including hard things.
Through Christ that strengthens me. So yes, those are my go-to to keep me going. Especially Proverbs. That's one of my top favorite ones
Yeah.
because it's many challenges. Well, of course, you want many things, but when you're going through it, it's just like, is this really what I want, God?
Mhm.
And then you have to rely back to that scripture. Trust him and not lean onto your own understanding, but trust him. So yeah, that has
I
been as
know.
simple as kept me.
He kept me. He kept me, and he will keep you. I'm often reminded in Hebrews because it goes through a whole list of faith stories. And
Yeah,
it just Hebrews reminds us. And sometimes I'll be like, you don't even have to look into Hebrews to see how faith has how faith has been rewarded. You can even look into your own life and your path and say, I remember when I wanted this. I remember when I prayed about that. You can look into the lives of your friends. You can look into the lives of your parents and also when to your point about the doctors and the doctors saying, you're almost 40, and I always think about them people in the wilderness for 40 years
yeah,
because
yes,
we think about 40 years, and now that I am 40, I'm like, it went by fast, but then it went by slow, and it's like, wow, we got here, but there's so many beautiful things on the other side of 40. And so I think, like you said, they're on a human time and God is on God's time. And
true.
when they did get to the 40 years and they were finally able to get there was victory there was joy there. And I just saw literally before our interview today, I was on Instagram and it was like women who had their breakthroughs after the age of 40, and it was talking about Viola Davis. It talked about Tina Turner. It talked
Wow.
about Ava DuVernay, and it just was a Toni Morrison. It was just a list and list of women who had success, victory, joy, all great success after the age of 40. And so 40 is, I remember they used to say 40 is the new 20 back in the early 2000s, but there's so much other things on the other side of 40. There's victory on the other side of
Yes.
40. There is motherhood on the other side of 40. There's so much more to look forward to on the other side of 40. But before we go, what's one small win that you recently had that
Ooh.
felt huge to you? It was small, but it was huge.
Mm. Ooh, one small win was when I got an award for women empowerment as an influencer. And just for the business in general. And I like wasn't expecting it. At first I thought it was a scam. The person that reached out to me, I really did because sometimes that does happen. And I was
Right.
like, me? She was like, I want to honor you if you are available. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, okay. So I went through the process and everything. And she basically, people that she didn't even know, basically, God just told her, Dr. Mandy Fresh, basically, God told her that she needed to reach out to women who needed to be honored. And I was one of them. And I was just like, wow. She was like, you've done so many great things. You go out your way to encourage people. And it's just a video that I was just speaking about Dr. Crable because how she just changed my life and my aspect of how I look at doctors, how
Mhm.
she is a true believer because she basically told me, you will not need IVF. And I looked and I was like, you are the first doctor to ever tell me that. And she basically told me, I really feel your body is going to respond in a way to where you conceive naturally. And I was just basically just giving her kudos for just being the amazing person that she was. And that's when Dr. Manny Fresh saw that post. And that's when she messaged me and said I needed to be honored for honoring other women.
Wow. And what is even more full circle about this episode is that my other two guests that are going through their fertility journey went to Dr. Crable.
She's the GOAT. That's all I can say. She is the GOAT. When I tell you, it started how I got connected through her. It was like the Trinity because I went through pelvic floor therapy. And it was through a physical therapist. They are no triggered PT, but they're no longer open. And they basically have it to where they had different OBGYNs as far as their information for you to reach out to. So I had saw Dr. Tiffany Woods. I had been following her on Instagram and they had her information there. So I made an appointment with her, and at that time she still had to wear we had to wear masks because it's a little bit after COVID, and she did not see below my nose. And she looked me in my eyes and she put her hand on my lap and she said, I can tell you've been through it. And girl, I lost it. I
Mhm.
lost it. And she said, I'm gonna make sure you're good. She's like, I can't do anything about fibroids, but I know somebody that can help you. And
Mhm.
that's when she led me to Dr. Tiffany Jones, who is a fertility doctor here in Dallas.
Mhm.
And she basically, said, oh, you're getting close to the age. But she said, with those fibroids, in order for you to get pregnant, we have to have them removed. And so I had, I would say about four or five. One of them was blocking one of my fallopian tubes. And she basically did the non invasive as far as going through my vagina to have the surgery and remove them. But because it's time restricted, she wasn't able to get all of them. And that's when she basically told me, she said, I can do it again. She said, I don't mind seeing your face. But she said, I'd rather you go through a surgery to where you get all of it removed so where you're not going back and forth. And
Mhm.
so that's when she had referred me to Dr. Crable. And I was just simply going to her for the surgery. But that first appointment did it for me. When I tell you she has the absolute best bedside manners and just how encouraging she was and how she just looked in my face, she said, you're going to be okay. And I was
Mhm.
like, God in that moment just told me that's who your OBGYN needs to be. It was
Yes.
just her faith that drew me to her. And I was like, I'm so blessed that God like took me from Dr. Tiffany Woodis to Dr. Tiffany Jones to Dr. Crable. And it's just like it just turned my whole as far as my how I felt mentally going through the stages as far as trying to get pregnant. I felt more at peace versus
Mhm.
before I was like, you might as well say in the wilderness because my faith was just like really like questioning, like, is this really going to happen for me? And
Mhm.
just her just speaking those words of encouragement really just gave me the motivation just to like, okay, I'm just gonna go and just let God, do what he does. And so I'm truly grateful for Dr. Crable. Like I refer everybody. If I know somebody is going through the same thing that I went through, I
Yeah.
have referred her. And it was like, oh, you go to Dr. Crable too? You'd be amazed. There's some people that come to the juice bar. She has told them to come to our juice bar.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I love Dr. Crable. Can't nobody tell me anything. She's the GOAT.
At this point, I need to meet Dr. Crable because the girls are giving her rave reviews.
Girl, and the thing about it, she doesn't like to, like be out as far as like, on social media like that. She even told me, she's like, girl, I have to get myself into it. She really wasn't trying to. But
Yeah.
she's an amazing person. Like, I love her. So down to earth. And like, she just makes you feel so comfortable. And you
Yeah.
don't really get that all the time from doctors. It's like
Not at
sometimes they make it more stressful for what it has to be. And I told her, I was like, you are the first doctor I've ever come across that really walks in their faith with their practice. So
Yeah.
I thanked her more than once for that. And that's why she's so blessed.
And it sounds like she is truly in her calling, like she's meant to be in the space that she's in.
She really is. She really is.
So if anybody was in the situation with what as far as dealing with fertility, if they're trying to start a business and then or they're trying to have children or whatever the case may be and their faith is waning, what is something that you would say to them to give them some encouragement when your faith is low?
Mm. Whew. When your faith is low, you really have to draw near more to him. I know it happened for me in the moment. you basically spoke what I endured in the beginning stages, trying to get pregnant, starting a business, and then, just kind of waiting because I didn't really have the time to really, focus on trying to get pregnant. I just like, what, God, just help me to be focused in the moment. Not to like do so many things, but just focus on one thing and eventually it will come. But I would have to say to someone, you have to fast and pray for guidance on what God wants you to do. And I know those are all things that you want to, as far as with the business and getting pregnant, but ask God for guidance as far as what's the first thing you should go into so that way you don't interfere with what God is trying to do through you. That would be my advice I would give, because the Lord told me my husband and I to start the business. Of course, we wanted to get pregnant, and of course, I tried doing fertility treatments in the moment. But God had to remind me, look at your business. You have to live it. So you basically showing that it's okay to do that and that. But He said that's not a part of my journey. So that's why I backed away, and I was like, okay, God, I have to use what you blessed me with, and that's why I've been juicing to help boost my fertility levels naturally.
Well, Janay, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Tynee Talks podcast, where you have the juice and the faith. And I made a new tagline for your business. It's 129 Fresh, where fresh meets faith.
I love it.
So, how can followers find you on social media and to get to know more about Janay as well as 129 Fresh?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. My name on Instagram is J Shandy, SHANDY_08. And that's where you can find me on Instagram. And on TikTok is Nay0430.
All right. And is there anything else you want to say to the audience before we go?
I would say keep going. That's what I was told today. Keep going. No matter what life brings, no matter what the certain situation you're enduring right now, don't quit. Keep going.
Don't quit, keep going. And true Tynee Talks Fashion, this is your time to give a shout out. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to today?
Oh, I'm gonna give a shout out to my husband Aaron for being the amazing husband that he is, for giving me the foundation of wanting to be an entrepreneur, because it wasn't my part of my story in the beginning. He basically influenced me to want to become an entrepreneur. So I'm thankful for him. That's why we have 129 Fresh.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the Tynee Talks podcast. Remember, Tynee Talks is the podcast where you come to laugh and learn, the podcast that educates and entertains. I am your host, Tynee, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and share this podcast with someone who may need a little faith boost. See you next time.